If you already owe thousands of dollars, why would they offer you another $12,000? Think about that. You're already struggling to pay back what you borrowed. You're not trying to get deeper into debt. You're trying to get out. Then your phone lights up. Congratulations, you're pre-approved. Another card, another $12,000 available. And for a moment, it feels like relief. But did you just become $12,000 richer? Or were you simply given another way to spend money you haven't earned yet? Because something frustrating can happen when credit card debt becomes part of your life. You work, you make payments, you finally start getting ahead, then another bill hits, another emergency, another swipe. And suddenly, part of tomorrow's income is already being spent today. So why can someone already struggling still be offered more credit? And what is that really doing to their ability to build wealth? Let's go back to David, because tonight, he thinks he's finally found a way out. Remember David? He's 40, lives in California. He has a wife, 2 children, a mortgage, a car, and a full-time job. In the last video, we followed his $80,000 salary and saw how much of his income already had somewhere to go. Tonight, the kids are asleep. David is sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, calculator beside him, and one number is staring back at him. $7,800, his credit card balance. And this wasn't one ridiculous shopping spree. Some came from groceries during a difficult month, 2 tires, a refrigerator that suddenly stopped working, school expenses, and yes, some purchases he probably could have avoided. Every month, David told himself, "I'll catch up next month." But next month came. He made a payment, then another, and somehow, he was still carrying thousands. Tonight, David has had enough. He starts cutting things, a subscription, eating out, a few unnecessary expenses, maybe some overtime. He runs the numbers again, and finally, he sees a path. Okay, I can do this. For the first time in months, David feels like he might actually get out. Then his phone lights up. Congratulations, you're pre-approved. Another credit card, another $12,000, and for a second, David feels relief. If something happens, at least there's money available. Except, it isn't his money. His employer didn't give him $12,000. His savings didn't increase by $12,000. His net worth didn't increase by $12,000. Only one thing increased: how much David could potentially owe. A $12,000 savings account is money David owns. A $12,000 credit limit is money David can borrow. And 4 days later, David learns exactly why that difference matters. Saturday morning, David gets into his car, turns the key. Nothing. Again, nothing. He needs that car Monday morning. The mechanic gives in the number, $1,400. David's stomach drops. He checks his bank account. $620. Savings? Almost nothing. Then he looks at the card he has been desperately trying to pay down. Available credit? $4,300. 4 days ago, David was saying, "I'm getting out of this." Now life is pushing him right back toward it. What does he do? He needs the car to get to work, so he uses the card. $1,400. The car gets fixed. Problem solved. Except, David didn't make the $1,400 disappear. He moved it from today into the future and potentially added interest. That's what makes this so frustrating. David wasn't trying to get deeper into debt. He was trying to get out. But without enough cash to absorb the emergency, available credit became his backup plan, and the balance he was trying to push down went back up. David tells himself, "Fine, I'll work more." So he does, and eventually his income comes in. Surely now he can start catching up, right? Across the month, about $4,800 reaches David's account after taxes and payroll deductions in our example. That sounds like a decent amount of money, until you see everything waiting for it. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, gas, insurance, and now, the credit card. But here's the frustrating part. Some of this month's income is paying for things that already happened. Groceries David already ate, tires already on the car, a refrigerator already sitting in his kitchen, the car repair from weeks ago. David is working today, while part of today's income is still paying for yesterday. And if he's carrying an interest-bearing balance, borrowing costs are competing for that money too. David looks at what's left and thinks, I make $80,000 a year, so why do I still feel stuck? So he tries again. He works overtime, cuts spending, makes an extra payment, and finally, the balance starts dropping. For the first time, David sees progress. Maybe he's finally turning the corner. Then the utility bill comes in higher than expected. One of the kids needs something for school. Groceries cost more than he planned, and the extra money he was going to put toward the card? Gone. Next month. Next month comes. Another bill. Another expense. David works, pays, tries, works, pays, tries, and eventually he starts asking, what am I doing wrong? Because he's moving, but financially he feels like he's standing still. And this is where we get to the biggest cost of credit card debt. It isn't just what's leaving David's account, it's what David never gets the chance to build. Most people look at David's credit card and immediately think, interest. And yes, interest matters. Suppose someone carries a $10,000 credit card balance at around 22% APR. The exact cost depends on the card's terms and how the balance is handled, but high-interest revolving debt can be expensive. But there's another cost. Imagine David finally has an extra $500. Nothing broke this month. No emergency. No surprise bill. For once, David has $500 that could move his life forward. Emergency savings, retirement, investing, a cash buffer so the next unexpected expense doesn't automatically go onto a credit card. But David already has debt waiting, so the $500 goes backward, toward old purchases and debt. Next month, another $500, backward. Meanwhile, his emergency savings struggle to grow. Then something breaks again. David doesn't have enough cash. Where does he go? Back to the card. Look at the cycle. No emergency savings, emergency happens, use card. Debt increases. More money goes toward debt. Less money available to save. Another emergency. Back to the card. And that's the real frustration. The credit card helped David when he didn't have enough cash. But servicing the debt can make it harder for him to build the cash reserves that would reduce his need to borrow next time. Yesterday's solution can contribute to tomorrow's shortage. And that's the wealth building problem. It isn't only the interest David pays, it's what David doesn't get to build. The $500 going toward yesterday can't simultaneously build tomorrow's emergency fund. It can't simultaneously be invested. It can't simultaneously go toward retirement. David is trying to build wealth, while his past keeps taking pieces of the money he needs for his future. But now we come back to the strangest part of this story. David is desperately trying to owe less. So why can he still be offered more? Imagine you borrowed $2,000 from a friend. You promise, I'll pay you back next month. Next month comes. You can't. You give him $100. Another month passes. You still owe him most of the money. Then you ask, can I borrow another $5,000? What would your friend probably say? You haven't even paid me back yet. Now come back to David. He's already carrying thousands of dollars of credit card debt. He's trying to get out. Then, congratulations, you're pre-approved. Another limit. Maybe another $12,000. So why can this happen? Because David and the lender aren't necessarily asking the same question. David needs to ask, can I actually afford more debt? The lender is evaluating whether David qualifies for the credit product under its criteria. Those are different questions. Credit card lending is a business, and lenders use credit information, underwriting standards, and their own policies when deciding who qualifies for credit. So receiving another offer doesn't prove that someone deliberately wants David trapped, but it creates a dangerous possibility. David can already feel financially stretched, and still potentially have access to more borrowing. And that's where the mistake can happen. David sees approved $12,000 and thinks, I have $12,000. But did his income increase? No. Did his savings increase? No. Did his net worth increase? No. He simply gained access to more borrowing. Approval is not affordability. And if David confuses the two, the cycle can continue. Months later, David's phone lights up again. Another offer. Pre-approved. Higher limit. Maybe rewards. Months earlier, David would have thought, finally, breathing room. But this time, he looks at the offer, then his balance, then his savings. He remembers the car repair, the groceries, the old purchases still showing up in new paychecks, and something clicks. He looks at the $12,000 and thinks, that's not $12,000 I have, that's $12,000 I could owe. And that's the shift. David realizes that what he needs isn't necessarily a bigger credit limit. He needs more of his income to stop belonging to yesterday. Because every dollar eventually freed from expensive debt can have a different job. Emergency savings, retirement, investing, his family, his future. For the first time, David isn't asking, how much can I borrow? He's asking, how much of my future income do I want to promise to today? And this is the real credit card trap. Look at David's story. He worked, he paid, he tried to catch up. Then the car broke. He borrowed. He worked more. Income came in, but old expenses were waiting. He made progress. Another bill arrived. He tried again. Another emergency. Back to the card. Every time David couldn't afford today's problem, credit gave him a way to move some of that problem into tomorrow. But eventually, tomorrow arrives, and the bill is waiting. That's why carrying expensive credit card debt can make it so difficult for hardworking adults to build wealth. Not because simply owning a credit card automatically makes someone poor, and not because receiving an offer proves someone wants you trapped. It's because repeatedly carrying expensive debt can give your past a claim on your future income, and you can't use the same dollar twice. Money paying yesterday's debt can't simultaneously build tomorrow's emergency fund. Money going toward interest can't simultaneously be invested for retirement. Income committed to old purchases isn't fully available to build new wealth. That's why David can work harder, keep paying, keep trying, and still feel stuck. He's trying to build his future while his past keeps taking pieces of it. So remember, don't confuse access to money with owning money. A credit limit tells you how much you're allowed to borrow. It doesn't tell you how wealthy you are. And it doesn't tell you what you can afford. The next time you see, congratulations, you're pre-approved, ask yourself, is this solving today's problem or sending it to my future? Because the goal isn't to have the biggest credit limit. The goal is to have more of your future income actually belong to your future. But David's story isn't over, because credit cards aren't the only way hardworking adults spend tomorrow's income today. There's another payment that can follow you for 5, 6, even 7 years. And unlike credit card debt, millions of people see it as completely normal. Your car payment. A car can look affordable because the monthly payment fits your budget, while quietly taking money away from your savings, investing, retirement, and ability to build wealth. Next Sunday, we're following David into the car payment trap, and we're answering one question. Is your car really affordable, or is the payment keeping you from building wealth. Subscribe so you don't miss the car payment trap next Sunday.